In this video, I will beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokémon Platinum with the power of friendship. The rules of the playthrough are on screen now and in the description. My encounters this run will consist of Pokémon that evolve via the friendship mechanic. I start the run off by naming myself Mar and my rival Barry, as is obligatory in Sinnoh runs. Let's see who gets the nicknaming scheme. It doesn't really matter which starter I pick since this isn't a monologue, so I just let random selection choose Chimchar. This means my rival will have a Piplup. My actual first encounter is a Budgie on Route 204 just north of Dupes, which I name Cosmos. I could get one more encounter before the first rival fight, but I choose to delay this one until after the first gym to increase the difficulty a little. The first hurdle to overcome is Barry's rival battle outside of Dupes. I EV train Cosmos on other Budgie exclusively to increase her special attack up until level 10, where she learns Stun Spore. After paralyzing Barry's lead Starly, Cosmos sets up with Growth and KOs Barry's Pokémon with Absorb. It's already time for the first gym fight. I choose to leave Cosmos unevolved for this fight, once again to increase the difficulty ever so slightly. By bringing my Chimchar to the battle on the bench, I can trick the Geodude into wasting a move on Stealth Rock, but Cosmos misses a Stun Spore. The next turn she connects, but she's already taken damage from a Rock Throw. After getting brought down to 6 HP, Cosmos still hasn't set up enough to one-shot the coming Cranidos, so I gamble on the Geodude being paralyzed this turn. It's still very early in the run, so if I have to reset it won't really matter. I win the gamble though, as Geodude stays paralyzed, so I'm free to one-shot the Geodude and Onix with Mega Drains, ultimately being at 29 HP when the Cranidos enters the field. Cosmos survives a headbutt on 2 HP without getting flinched, meaning she can kill the Cranidos for the victory. With the first gym badge in hand, I head back to Dupes to go north from there on and can catch my second encounter in Auberg Gate, a Zubat, whom I name Cobra. I then make sure to evolve Cosmos into a Rosalia at level 16, so she learns Leech Seed in order to fight Commander Mars and her Purugly from Hell. I lead with Cobra, who can take down the mirror match and stay healthy with a Heldoran Berry. Thanks to his inner focus, he avoids a fake-out flinch and lands a Supersonic to confuse the Purugly. I then make the switch to Cosmos as the Purugly snaps out of confusion and lands a Scratch, luckily avoiding a Poison Point proc as I land a Stun Spore. From there on it's just a matter of staying healthy and outside of crit range with Leech Seed and Mega Drain, and Commander Mars is defeated. Trekking through Eterna Forest, Cheryl gives me the Soothe Bell, an item which will certainly come in handy for this run. I then catch a Buneary in Eterna Forest whom I name Evergreen. I make sure to evolve her into a Lopunny early, so she can learn Return via level up. Gardenia is the next gym leader on the roster, but she's completely walled by Cobra, who's evolved into a Golbat by now. I start off by confusing her lead Turtwig because I want to avoid it setting up a Reflect. It hits itself in confusion and I want to take the kill with a Wing attack, but because of a low roll it hangs on one singular hit point and snaps out of confusion, luckily only setting up a sunny day. 2 more Wing attacks then take it out. Her Cherrim falls to a single critical hit Wing attack and her Ace Rose Raid falls to 2, only managing to hit a Stun Spore which is shrugged off by a held Cherry Berry. Because Cobra grew to level 23 in the battle and has high enough friendship, he gets to evolve into a Crobat after taking home the victory. With the Forest badge in hand I can use Cut outside of battle, meaning I gain access to one of my Munchlax trees. I catch one and name him Droy. Another encounter arrives in Hearthome City, where I take the gift Eevee from Bebe, whom I call Big Slow. He'll have an important part to play later in the run. For now though, Fantina is next on the chopping block. I lead with Cobra and take down her Duskull with 2 bites. She then immediately sends out her ace Mismagius, which I outspeed and hit with a Confuse Ray. It hits itself as I get struck by the Future Sight, the Duskull set up for 9 damage. My strategy from here on was a combination of flinches and confusion, but Cobra doesn't feel like sitting through all that and just lands a crit bite for the one shot. Last up is her Haunter, which gets brought down to the red with a single bite and flinches. Fantina tries to heal up, but her fate is sealed, as she goes down to a couple more for the Relic badge. Before taking on the Veilstone Gym Challenge, I backtrack to Eterna City to catch an encounter I missed out because I forgot, a Chingling I name Frosh on the west side of Route 211. I then have a slew of evolutions as Frosh, Droy and Happy, the Togepi I received from Cynthia in Eterna, all evolve into Chimecho, Snorlax and Togetic. With that, it's time to take on Maylene. I lead with Cobra against her lead Meditite to bypass the fake-out flinch and nail it with a single Wing attack. Her Machoke falls to 2 wing attacks as it just stupidly sets up focus energy. Last is her Lucario, which I outspeed and confuse. I then pivot to Happy to put it to sleep with a yawn as the Lucario hits itself in confusion on the switch in. Before falling asleep, he snaps out of confusion though and hits Happy with a force palm that paralyzes. Happy is able to lower the Lucario's attack with Charm as I switch to Frosh, who can take down the Lucario with 2 Mind Plate boosted psychics from the game corner, as it just stays asleep to obtain the Cobble badge. Before facing Crash Awake, I make a detour to Mr. Backlet's Trophy Garden, where I encounter and catch a Pichu, whom I name Laxus. I make sure to evolve him into a Pikachu, so he learns Thunderbolt by level up before challenging the gym. The gym battle itself is a breeze. Laxus outspeeds and totally fries the Gyarados with a Thunderbolt. A held Light Ball ensures he can get the one shot with a Grass Knot on Wake's Quagsire too. Against his ace Floatzel, I should probably have done a bit of pivoting and brought in Cosmos, as I get brought down to only 3 HP by Crunch that would have killed if it crit. We go unpunished though and take it down with a single Thunderbolt for the Fen badge. With access to Surf, I head to Canalave City where the infamous Barry Bridge battle awaits. Laxus is able to outspeed and one-shot his lead Staraptor with a Thunderbolt. I then paralyze his Rapidash and swap to Droy, who can tank a takedown and take it down with Earthquake from Wayward Cave. I quickly pivot to Cobra on his Heracross Brick Break and easily one-shot it with a Fly. I confuse his Empoleon and go back to Droy to take it out with 2 Earthquakes, regaining some HP every turn with leftovers. His final Pokémon, Rose Raid, survives a return on 1 singular hit point, so I swap out to Evergreen on a Giga Drain to take it out with another return. Next up is Byron, but he usually isn't that much of a challenge. The lead Magneton falls to a single Earthquake. Droy can kill the opposing Steelix with 3 Earthquakes, but gets taken down to the yellow because of a crit Earthquake himself. I then grossly miscalculate as Byron's Bastiodon actually survives an Earthquake, but luckily he just misses a Stone Edge so Droy can finish the battle on the next turn. Never punished. The 7th gym leader is Candice, and it's Evergreen's turn to shine. She survives a critical hit feint attack in the yellow and takes down the Sneasel with 1 quad effective jump kick. Candice Bomber Snow then comes in, but I taught Evergreen Fire Punch from the move Tutor, which with a held Flame Plate to boost the attack is able to take it down in 1 attack. Evergreen's done enough now, so I swap to Droy against Candice Frostless, who easily shrugs off a Blizzard with his thick fat ability and recovers HP with leftovers. A few crunches secure the KO. I take down her last Pokémon, Pilo's Wine, to below half with a return, but can't stay in with Droy now, so I swap to Cosmos, who dodges a crit and is free to take it down the next turn with a Petal Dance for the victory and the Icicle badge. With the ability to use the HM for Rock Climb outside of battle now, I pick up this hidden shiny stone on Route 210, which means that, together with the one from Iron Island, I can evolve both Cosmos and Happy into Rose Raid and Togekiss respectively. They'll be back later down the road, but we'll have to take a backseater for now since next is the dreaded Cyrus fight in the Distortion World. Because I need to bring an HM Pokémon, that means I can only bring 5 Pokémon for the fight against Cyrus as well as the double battle with Mars and Jupiter. I have a plan though, a plan that involves catching a Chansey on the same route, Route 210, and naming her Meredy. The next step in the plan is to bring Bixlow out of the box and evolve him into an Umbreon. After finalizing movesets, I take on the Spear Pillar Gauntlet. The double battle against Mars and Jupiter is fairly straightforward. By KOing Barry's Munchlax on turn 1 with a return from Droy, I can bring out his more useful Pokémon. Then, by focusing on one side's Pokémon exclusively, Droy is able to easily take down every Pokémon Mars and Jupiter sent to the field on his own. Now the dreaded Cyrus fight. I lead Meredy against his Houndoom. A held zoom lens from the game corner makes Sing a 96% accurate move, which I use to put it to sleep. Meredy can then lower the Houndoom's special attack twice with Captivate before putting it to sleep again with Sing. If his ability was Flash Fire instead of Early Bird, I would have lowered once more and set up Light Screen too, but alas. I then swap into Bixlow, who is so bulky he can take a truckload of Thunder Fangs. Even the 10% paralysis proc doesn't throw a wrench in my plans, since Bixlow's Synchronize ability just does the same to Cyrus Houndoom. I then confuse the Houndoom and baton past the sub to Laxus, now a Raichu. From behind the safety of his substitute and with the Houndoom both confused and paralyzed, Laxus is free to set up an agility and 3 nasty plots. A single Thunderbolt is then enough to take out every single one of Cyrus' Pokémon. Now there's only one gym leader left, Volkner. Droy is able to take down his Jolteon, Raichu and Electivire with 1 Earthquake each, but has been brought too low in the process to stay in against his Luxray. I swap into Cosmos, whose Poison Point ability triggers, so I pivot between Pokémon for a few turns to let the poison damage stack up before taking it down with a Petal Dance from Cosmos for the final gym badge. With some final member swapping and moveset and item preparation, I challenge the Pokémon League. First is bug user Aaron. Happy is back for the league and has been equipped with both Air Slash and Flamethrower, which makes quick work of Aaron's Pokémon, only getting brought into the yellow. Second is Ground-type user Bertha. Cosmos sets up a growth on turn 1 and from there on is powerful enough to one-shot every single one of Bertha's Pokémon. I use Giga Drain to KO the Whiscash and from there on KO with Petal Dances, all the while a held Persim Berry ensures I don't get confused. Third is Flint, the Fire-type user. As you can see on the layout, Meredy is back on the roster for the League Challenge, so you know what that means. Meredy lowers Flint's Houndoom's special attack all the way, sets up a light screen and puts it to sleep. I then swap to Cosmos, who, holding a Damp Rock to extend duration, sets up a Rain Dance along with a single growth and uses Weather Ball to take the kill on all of Flint's remaining Pokémon. The final member of the Elite Four is Lucian, the Psychic-type user. His lead Mr. Mime has the ability Soundproof, so no putting him to sleep with Meredy's Sing, but she's still very much capable of lowering his special attack all the way and setting up a light screen. Laxus then sets up with Agility and Nasty Plot, barely surviving a crit Psychic on 5 HP and starts firing off Thunderbolts to one-shot Lucian's Pokémon. Against his Espeon that has priority quick attack, I swap out to Droy to kill it. Now only the champion Cynthia is left. Her lead Spiritomb is female, meaning Meredy won't be able to use Captivate against her, but I still lead with Meredy regardless. She has only one goal this battle, to set up Stealth Rocks and stall Spiritomb out of PP by spamming Light Screen and keeping herself healthy with Soft Boiled. Once Spiritomb only has Shadow Ball left, I swap to Happy to lower the Spiritomb's attack all the way down and put it to sleep with a Yawn. Then, finally, Laxus can come out one last time on a weak struggle, which luckily doesn't trigger his static ability and set up again. With the Spiritomb gone, Cynthia's fearsome Garchomp enters the field. Even with boosted special attack, a Grass Knot still had rolls where it wouldn't kill the Garchomp from full HP, but with the little damage from the Stealth Rocks it always does. So with that threat out of the way, Laxus fires of Thunderbolts on all her remaining Pokémon to claim the championship. With that victory, the power of friendship has prevailed and not a single friend has had to lay down their life. I'm escorted to the Hall of Fame and my 6 Pokémon are registered, but this run was a team effort that included the remaining Pokémon in the box too. Bliss C is definitely a broken Morn for any Nuzlocke, and Sura setup moves. Perhaps I'll ban them in the future, I don't know yet. In any case, it was a lot of fun to plan out these big fights and strategize for them this way, so I don't feel bad about the strategies I used. Thanks for watching.